When I joined the United States Army and went off to basic training, I wasn't in the greatest of shape. So that did cause me to struggle in basic training and have a little bit of a harder time. I found easier ways to kind of deal with that once I got into the Army and how to stay in shape. And you might be in that kind of position where you're trying to get into shape for basic training. Maybe you're already in the Army and you just need ways to stay in shape. And I want to be able to kind of help you out with that and help you maintain, but also get into shape. But we're going to start off with getting into shape. A big worry that people have is getting into shape. They're worried that they're not going to be in good enough shape to join the Army, to go off to basic training. They're going to struggle. So how can I go and get into better shape? Of course, it requires exercise, but specifically, let's talk about some different ways through exercise that you can do that and achieve that goal. The main one that I usually like to focus on to tell people and recommend is cardio. I feel like if you can build a great cardio base before you go off to basic training, it'll be very helpful to allow you to keep up with the training that's gonna go on. I still recommend doing like push-ups and doing maybe some ab workouts and all sorts of things, but building a good cardio base will help you keep up, because if you're great at push-ups but your cardio is horrible, that you may have the strength to be able to do the push-ups, but you get tired and exhausted. Even though you still have the strength left in your arms to be able to do push-ups, you don't have the cardio base to be able to do so. That's why you see maybe sometimes like boxers and MMA fighters where they have to have a good cardio base. It's not always based on how strong they are if they don't have good cardio, because then they're gonna get worn out after a couple of rounds, even though they're pretty damn strong. So you gotta do things like going for runs, all right? A good kind of measurement of if I'm at a good enough stage to start basic training, cardio-wise, being able to run, is if you can run 2 miles without needing to stop to walk, stop to take a breath or whatever. You can maintain a good, decent pace. I'm not saying you need to be, running super fast and be able to win the Olympics kind of a thing, but you need to be able to do those 2 miles at a good medium pace and not have to stop to take a break, take a rest, whatever. If you can get to that point, great, you're off to a great start, but definitely don't stop there. You need to go a little bit beyond that, and it'll be helpful to you. If you can at least get to, I guess, the 2 mile mark of not needing to stop, not needing to walk kind of a thing, that's great, and that'll probably put you at a much better place than maybe you were in before, but I would still recommend going a little bit further than that. Especially like in the Army, you probably won't do anything that short of 2 miles. I mean, occasionally, but most of your runs when you're doing like platoon runs, company runs or whatever, they're gonna be more closer to the 4 mile range, somewhere around there, sometimes longer, sometimes a little bit less or whatever. But that's probably a good kind of estimate as far as how long of a run we're gonna do. We're probably gonna go out for a good little 4 mile run. There are definitely times where you do longer runs. I remember doing some 6 mile runs and things like that, but a good 4 mile one is a good basis. So if you get to the point where, hey, I can do 2 miles, no problem. I don't need to stop, I don't need to rest kind of a thing, push yourself a little bit further out. You can mix things up, you might get burnt out with running, trying to get yourself into shape by running. Do other things too. I mean, maybe throw on a backpack with some weight and go hiking. Maybe you go on some kind of little, nature walk, or maybe just a regular road march, whatever. You can mix things up, but cardio is usually a pretty good one. There's a lot of different ways you can use cardio, and I usually recommend trying to find whatever is, best for you as far as what you would have the most fun doing, because nobody likes to do exercises that they hate. You're gonna get to a point where you're gonna have to do that stuff, but especially when you're in this first initial phase of just trying to get into shape, it's best to have some kind of motivation by doing something that's fun, maybe playing sports, maybe doing something that you enjoy doing, and then once you've kind of, done that for a while to kind of build up your cardio, test yourself by going on a little 2 mile run. Now, there's nothing wrong with using like supplements to kind of help you during your workout, and I even have down in the description box down below a affiliate link for Snap supplements if you want to check them out, maybe get some kind of pre-workout. I got like these energy gummies, and sometimes that's very helpful, like especially me, I'm not a very good morning person, and that's usually the time I have free is in the mornings to work out. So sometimes you need that extra boost and everything. So sometimes utilizing those things to give you that extra boost, to get you motivated in the morning, in the evening, whatever it is you're trying to do to be able to work out, not a big deal, right? So if you want to check out those affiliate links down below, not sponsored in this video, but I do have a little affiliate link. So that's great for getting into shape. Cardio, work in other exercises. Don't just do nothing purely but cardio, but cardio is a good kind of base to get you there. Basic training will probably whip you into shape, but if you don't have at least a good cardio base, it's gonna make it a struggle. And that's kind of one of the things I struggled with, is I did not have a good cardio base. So build that up as well as adding in some exercises. But let's move into how do I stay in shape? A lot of people think that, hey, no problem, I'm gonna be doing PT in the morning anyways. And physical fitness in the morning isn't necessarily designed to make you to be in great shape or anything else like that. It's meant to maintain your standards. So that way, if you're in good shape, by doing that physical fitness every morning will keep you at that state. But if that state is not very good, then you need to do something to improve that and make it better. I know a lot of people that would do PT twice a day, and those were usually the people that were scoring really high on the fitness tests. It was not very often that you would see people that scored really high on the fitness test just do PT in the morning and that was it. Usually the people that were the ones scoring really high is because they also work out in their free time. That's not to say that's not possible. There's some people that are just made up differently, and I've seen that where, you know, people are just really skinny and really like just natural runners, and they would just do amazing at the PT test because, you know, that's all they needed to do was PT in the morning, and that was good enough for them to do that. But the majority of people that I saw, it's because they would go to the gym in the evenings. So you will have time in the evenings, and if you're already in the Army, then you already know this, right? You go to the gym, there's usually a local gym on post that's free to utilize. If not, then you just get creative and do something in your room. If you want to go get a subscription off post to a membership to some local gym, then sure, you can do that kind of thing too. But there is also free ways to do that if you're not currently in the Army and you're wondering, how do I stay in shape while I'm in the Army outside of PT? Those gyms are pretty good ones. You have to kind of do that extra work. You know, you can do more running, you can do more weightlifting, whatever it is that you're really weak in, you just need to kind of focus on that. My physical fitness scores were okay. I mean, I wouldn't say it was anything amazing, but the very, very best score that I ever got was actually when I went off to the non-commissioned officer course. And let me talk about how I got my very best score. Part of it was a little bit of pressure, all right? So hard work because I was pressured into, you know, worrying about like what it was gonna be like down there for the NCO Academy. I'd always heard horror stories about like them being super strict on push-ups, and that was one of my weaknesses, was push-ups. So I was going to the gym in the evenings and working really hard on like upper body so that I could do very good on push-ups, but also on my runs too. So I was doing a little bit extra work because I was worried about like how strict are they gonna be at that NCO Academy. Now, because of that extra work I was putting in due to pure pressure, that made it to where I did the best PT test I ever had was at that non-commissioned officer course. I never did better than that one. That one was always the best physical fitness score that I also got. And there's also another factor that also led to that as well. The other factor that led to that was that I was doing the training and trying to make sure that I was in great shape for being able to, you know, pass this PT test down at Fort Hood, and I was training at Fort Carson in Colorado. So I was in Colorado, which is a much higher elevation than it was down at Fort Hood in Texas. So elevation was a big factor, and you might be thinking, okay, what am I gonna do? Go train at higher elevation? Kind of, I mean, you can do that, but you can also do it without actually traveling somewhere as well. They have ways that you can actually utilize like breathing masks and everything to be able to simulate higher elevations when you're running and everything like that. Maybe that could be a great kind of thing to try out, right? If you're at a lower elevation, like maybe you're at Fort Hood, you're in Texas, you're in California, you're trying to get ready for, you know, basic training kind of a thing, maybe look into that, right? Maybe look into one of those cool masks that kind of simulate the higher elevations, because it did play a good factor with my run. I had the best run I ever did in the entire Army when I went down to Texas, because I was training really hard at a higher elevation, and then I went down to a much lower elevation at Texas and did amazing. Now, when I say amazing, I mean, I'm saying amazing for my standards, right? Compared to all my other physical fitness tests. Some of you can probably still beat the crap out of that run kind of time that I had back then, but for me, it was pretty darn good. Now, just, I guess, to give you a little bit of kind of like clarity to that, I think my normal run times, I think were around like in the 15-minute range for my 2 miles, I wanna say, something like that. And I think for that one, I think I was able to do like 13 something, or I forget what it was, but it was like a good couple of minutes off from my best before that. I almost wanted, for some reason, I'm thinking like it was 11-minute flat, but I don't think I ever ran that fast. So I don't think it was 11 minutes flat, but it was a pretty darn good time. So maybe working in some kind of elevation training can be very useful. Question of the day for you guys out there is, what is an exercise that's fun to you? What's something that you could do that you would have fun doing? Maybe it's playing basketball, playing football, whatever. For me, road marching. I like road marching. And for me, I like to go and do a workout, throw on a ruck, go for a long walk with a ruck on, and do a road march. And for me, that's fun, and it's a great way to work out. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you like these kind of workout type of videos, maybe I'll do another video about how to prepare for the ACFT as we're approaching the timeline to where that is going to be the official way for doing your physical fitness test. And if you're not familiar about the ACFT, well, then I recommend checking out this video to get familiarized with it. Check out this video just to continue reviewing experience. Check out the links down in the description box. Subscribe. I'm Christopher Chaos, and I'll see you next time. See ya.